Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you're watching us from and what time you're watching us. My name is Efi Joanna Tieno, and this is the Top Lawyer series from The Lawyer Africa, where we just look at the lawyers who have been ranked by The Lawyer Africa, and we get a glimpse into them as people and not just lawyers and their firms. And today, being the first episode, the maiden episode, we have a very great man, so to speak. I don't want to tune his horn, he'll do that himself, but he has welcomed us to his offices, very beautiful offices if I may say, and at this point I'll allow him to introduce himself and introduce his firm. Hi sir.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. My name is Okale Makanda, Senior Partner MNO Advocates.
Yes, so thank you so much for welcoming us to your firm. It's a very beautifully decorated space.
Thank you so much.
Love the artwork and the warm welcome from your staff.
Thank you so much.
Maybe you can just tell us a bit about yourself. Who is Mr. Okale?
Yeah, so apart from being an advocate of about 14 years in practice, I am a father and I'm a husband.
Okay.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
So you can tell us a bit about the firm, what inspired M&O Advocates, the dynamics of the firm, from the partners and the staff generally.
Yeah, so MNO Advocates is about over 7 years now. We're doing our 8th year. And basically we met, me and my friends, we've been friends for many years. Some from university days, myself, Daisy Chege, and my other partner, Terry Otieno, and Cynthia Chaka. So we met in 2016 and made a decision that we wanted to start a business. So we had been employed for some time, and so we decided that was the time to take a dip into this business. And this brand was born 7 or so years ago.
Okay, that's interesting. I've just noticed it's female partners and then you're the man in the middle. So tell us a bit about that.
Maybe most, let's say, man on the side, because it's a 3/4 led women-led firm. We are equal share partners, and so it's a woman-led business, and that's very intentional. I'm sure when you walked in, you also saw the number of ladies that work with us.
I did.
So it's primarily a female-led business.
Okay.
With a sprinkling of men.
Thanks to the 2010 Constitution, affirmative action for the win.
This is more than affirmative action. It's more like affirmative action for the men, because we are the minorities. But also, maybe to mention, we have 2 offices, the headquarters in Nairobi, and another one in Kakamega, which covers the South Rift, Western, and Nyanza region. And we have 4 partners and maybe another 22 staff. Okay. So a team of about 26 staff.
Oh wow,
yeah.
That's a pretty large group to work with.
Yeah, a typical lawyer, we just call it mid-size.
Yeah, but I think we should move away from that. You guys are doing so well.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so what are some of the practice areas of the firm?
So we are primarily a niche firm, and we normally say that our strength is in supporting businesses and that ecosystem of business. So if you're providing legal in terms of litigation, that's, let's say, dispute resolution. We provide commercial legal practice, property, banking, immigration, Islamic finance, and generational estate planning is generally around business and business owners. That's our niche. But of course, we have other support areas, in terms of individual legal practice and let's say government.
Okay, maybe just to circle back on you as a person so that our viewers can know lawyers are not just lawyers, they're also people. If you weren't an advocate, what would have been your alternate career path?
Easy one, teaching English.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I knew I was going to teach English. I was told not to say English teacher, but I knew by my teachers then I would be teaching English if I wasn't a lawyer. I was very certain about that. Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
I think that can still be a viable alternative.
Yeah. Maybe in old age, yes, I will do it.
Or you're so far gone.
Yeah, in old age, I will do that.
Okay, when Okale is not being a commercial lawyer or an employment lawyer or just a typical day at M&O, what do you do?
So if I'm not doing the lawyering work, my biggest fun is, of course, spending time with my children, of course, my wife, and music. I love music. Listen a lot of music.
What kind of music?
My music, of course, we have the evergreens that are the music that I love. I'm of course, I'm a product of hip hop, not the current hip hop of no, the old one, the Snoops and all this and that whole gang. But I also am my music, whatever repertoire is very wide. I like African music. I'm a huge fan of Oliver Mtukudzi, who I think might be the best musician ever to be produced. But also now, because I have teenage daughters, I'm listening to a lot of BTS, his Korean pop music, and that's what is on the replay on my Spotify. So I'm watching a lot of Korean music right now, K-pop. This not intentionally, but forced by my daughters. Now I have to love the music.
And you can imagine a few years down the line that will be their old school music.
Yeah.
You can't even relate.
They can't relate with my music, which is sad. Yeah.
Okay, so back to MNO and what you do as a farm. What, according to you, are some of the most notable work that you've done or your defining moments as an advocate? It doesn't have to be when you're at MNO, but at this point I feel there is no distinguishing Makande and MNO.
Yeah, I think for me, apart from serving our clients, and a happy client or a client that gave us feedback, I think my most proud moment for MNO and I think I talk this even on behalf of my partners is our team of staff. Every month when our staff are happy when they go home and they come back every single day. I remember during COVID when we didn't have to let any of them go. We didn't have to deduct anybody their salaries. Everyone was on full salary during that time. I think those are the moments I look back to and I'm like, if we are able to, as partners, to sacrifice and share with our staff, that's more important to us than anything else that would be defined as an advocate. So I think for us, the biggest is our staff and our team. And we don't say this as cliches. Like, we really, really value our team.
That is actually very impressive. I think many people should take note, many employers. As one of the people who suffered the layoffs during COVID, I can relate.
So we didn't lay off anybody, including even if you had disciplinary issues. During that season, we took a decision not to find any excuse to let anyone go. So everyone, the entire team, worked with us during the entire season, 2 years, on full salaries.
Okay.
Yeah.
I noticed just by looking at your farm profile, your farm does a lot of work in the tech space and a lot of interest in the creative industry, especially now that it's really growing. And I think even tonight we have a talk at the Lawyers Hub on TikTok and regulation and the creative space. So tell us a bit about your work with the creative space, the creative industry, and how your farm is leveraging technology to help your clients.
Yeah, so there's two bits to that. The first bit is, as a person, as an individual, I started, developing interest in the creative space out of a hobby because I like supporting those people in the creative space because I feel like the future of this country, especially in terms of revenues and sustainability for young people, involves us investing quite a bit in the tech space. So I realized the challenges that the guys in the tech or creative space normally have in accessing legal services. And so we decided that this is going to be a home for them to come in. Most of the time we don't maybe build them or do market research to just ensure that they have proper contracts, they're not being taken advantage of. And we have a huge portfolio of creative industry, both from music, from art, from comedians, and even people who are into the podcasting space like yourself. So yes, that is in terms of our client portfolio. I'm sure you've walked around, you've seen a lot of paintings here. Yeah. So we also showcase paintings for creatives, and then if clients come in and they can buy it, and all the money without us taking any commission goes to the creative, the artist. Okay. And then of course now in terms of leveraging technology and law, we hope that at one time they'll be able to coexist in the same space, because lawyers generally are averse to technology. But what we've done is just in terms of trying to ensure that our clients, we have a bigger reach to our clients. We have set up a podcast which is called Just Legal, where we talk about legal issues and in terms of with our clients, with third parties, with our in-house staff, our lawyers, and everyone, to just issues of the day. I saw that day they were discussing about issues of divorce, and there was a proposal to amend the act to provide for divorce by consent, and the feedback was quite good. And so we are trying to reach out, through Just Legal, our podcast, to especially the younger people. People normally fear the legal lawyers; they think we are too uptight. So to just create that rapport.
That's very interesting, because at least from seeing the people in my generation, we consume content in little but digestible content, so to speak. So 5-minute videos. I think that's why TikTok is a hit, and YouTube Shorts and all that. So how do you think your podcast specifically is reaching out to, or is serving the community by reaching out to these younger audiences?
Yeah, so we were looking at the demographics yesterday, and as a team, and it's very exciting that the reach and the kind of questions and the responses we are getting. We are getting inundated by questions. Some from people we didn't think they will ask that kind of question. So I think people have been struggling with issues, but they don't know how to break the ice, because most of us know lawyers for the suits and the formal spaces.
Yeah.
So this, I think, is an icebreaker, and we've had quite a few questions coming in, a lot of engagement, and it's a very exciting phase to be in. Yeah.
That's actually brilliant. I think that's, for now in the digital age, that's the only way we can reach to a majority of the people, and of course going to the grassroots. Now, in terms of what you do as a firm and your areas of practice and how you've chosen to address the legal issues, what are some of the challenges that you face that might not necessarily be unique or might be unique to MNO, and how are you addressing those challenges?
I think the challenge is that as a society, one, we have a society where it doesn't honor a lot of their promises and contracts. And as such, I normally tell clients, I find them to be very bold, because people take a lot of risks in this market and get into transactions without any paperwork. And most of the time, people are coming to us to, it's called a firefight. And people don't understand that, the problems should be envisaged from the beginning, not when they occur. And so one of the challenges is that people take a lot of risks in this country, a lot of risks. I think maybe it's fear of spending. So you find somebody is buying an asset of 100 million, and to be modest, they don't want to pay 2% of that of legal fees to an advocate because they think it's expensive. But if they buy a car of 4 million, they keep insuring it for 6% every year for the next 10 years. So people do take a lot of risks, which I am, as an advocate, I'm an advocate and I can't take that kind of risk. Yeah, so I find Kenyans quite bold in terms of how they take risks.
We are very bold. I mean, Kenyans, every day we are sold land with ready titles on TV, and Kenyans buy into all that. So,
but that explains why I think our judiciary must be the most clogged per capita on earth. I don't think there's another country that has so much cases, is because of the risks Kenyans take. Yeah. So me as a commercial lawyer, I mean, part of what we do is to nurture those kind of relationships, so that we ensure that the relationships, the risks are mitigated. Even where you get conned, we have ways of mitigating that. But I know you get clients even who come and say, no, this deal is a good deal. It's we need to rush it, and sometimes it ends up being a huge loss for some of the clients we get.
Okay. Yeah. Now, just looking at MNO, sometimes there might be viewers who are watching this today and will want to apply for pupillage, or you want to apply and work with you. What would you say are some of the values that MNO holds that will be important for anyone out there that's watching? And this should also double up as the advice that you'd give to young aspiring advocates soon to join the profession, especially now that there's a new batch being admitted in the next 1 week, I think, 1 or 2 weeks.
I think to work with us, one, you must be somebody that loves nurturing relationships. Our slogan is the difference are great relationships. So we love nurturing relationships with our clients and internally. And number two, you must be somebody who's dynamic. Dynamic meaning that you don't come to us with a straight jacket and say that when I was in university, I wanted to be a human rights lawyer and blah 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 blah. You need to be dynamic and understand that even in human rights, there are aspects of it that you can see as a young lawyer. Maybe I'll encourage that more to young lawyers. And then there's the issue of patience. This is cliche once again, but like you feel like there's a lot of impatience amongst young lawyers. And with all due respect, I don't think anybody who's been admitted last week can be setting up a law firm. They are going to lie to clients. And so I think lawyers need to be patient. And when they're joining the profession especially, there's that bit of challenge of wanting to make a lot of money, but the profession is very rewarding to those who are patient. Those shortcuts don't work at all. Yeah.
I think I'm also from the generation that has seen my colleagues opening law firms 2 weeks after admission, and I felt left out. Like, what am I doing with my life?
No, they're lying. They're lying to clients. No. This is a very strong opinion, but yes, they're lying to clients. There's there's nothing much that a lawyer that's been admitted 2 weeks should be allowed near, saying, I have a client, I'm advising. Yes, you can advise, but I think it's the clients are getting the short end of the stick. Okay. Unfortunately, yeah.
Sadly, it's the clients who stand to lose actually at the end of it all.
100%.
So as we're coming to the conclusion,
yes,
maybe you can just remind us, for those who have just tuned in, what is the mission and vision of MNO Advocates?
I think for us, our mission for us is to just to build relationships, and this building relationships and building relationships for us is, for instance, if a client comes to us, sometimes clients get surprised because they come to us and say, I run a factory on Mombasa Road, I wanted to do blah blah blah. Then we say, can we come next week and have a look at your business? And then they're wondering, you're not surveyors, why are you coming to our business? But we feel that we are very well placed to represent you when we understand the setup of your business, the number of people you have, how you operate, the challenges you have. So we build relationships with you first before picking most of us, we're not those lawyers who will pick a solution from the shelf to say, now here is the solution to your problem. So building relationships. So everything we do is around our relationships.
Yeah. There is no textbook answer or a one-size-fits-all solution to every kind of problem.
No, not at least not in the legal space. It's very hard to craft an off-the-shelf solution for clients.
As we conclude, what are the future prospects, or what's in the horizon for you as an individual and for MNO Advocates generally?
I think with my age, maybe another 10 to 15 years, after which we hope we will have grown the space big enough for our associates to take over the business and become partners and run it.
Okay.
And then the rest of us can disappear into the horizon. You will not, this is a promise we make, you will not find 80-year-olds in this law firm walking around pretending they are representing clients. We intend to build a beautiful brand, which we're working on, and we intend to leave it to our associates who will become partners and take it over. So for us, it's to just perfect what we are doing, increase the quality of clients we have, may hopefully ensure that people at the bottom of the pyramid who are trying to set up businesses have a place to go to for legal services. I don't think there's anybody who shouldn't have access to legal services, like we talk about healthcare. And then now build a nice team here, which we have done a fantastic job of investing in our staff. And so that if you come here 10 years, the faces might be different, but the quality of work will remain the same.
Okay. That's actually great. I think I've had a lot of focus on the teamwork and a lot of emphasis that has been placed on the staff. And I think that's an important lesson for everyone who is running a law firm or intending to run a law firm in the future, because A business is as good as the people in it and as good as the relationships that are fostered. Now, just a final question. Final, I promise. Because you said you're in the creative spaces a lot, and I've seen a lot of artwork, so I believe you're an arts person.
Yeah.
What would you say is your strongest artistic strength? Can you draw? Can you dance? Can you write? Okay, all lawyers write, but so let's take that away. Can you sing?
I'm a connoisseur.
Okay.
I have a good eye for good art. So what I have is an eye for beautiful art. So I know how to see good art when I see it. I can tell good music when I hear the first beat. I have zero talent in terms of singing, zero talent in terms of drawing, zero talent in terms of the art itself. But I can tell a good artist from another one. So yes, I have a good eye for good art.
Okay.
And as you can see here, the art is very beautiful. And even I can tell you that the creatives we've taken a risk on are doing, wonders. People like Butita, when he came to us here many years ago. Now, when everyone, so you see how he's become big.
Yeah.
So I can tell from day one. This is a person going to do well, and this is a person who doesn't have the courage and the determination to hold it out for long enough. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for welcoming us. We love the work that you do here, and even giving an insight to your potential employees in the future.
Yes, yeah.
Some of them might have been watching.
Yes.
So thank you so much. We appreciate it. And looking forward to more engagements, even now focusing on your creative work and your work in the tech space. So thank you once again.
So we appreciate, especially to the lawyer, for the recognition and for this opportunity to tell our story to you.
Yeah.
And as we have said, you're always welcome. The doors are always open.
Thank you. This one is actually a very good storyteller, Things just flow seamlessly. So once again, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching us. This is just the first of the many episodes that we're going to have on the Top Lawyer series, which will be focusing on all the lawyers that have been ranked, or all the top lawyers that have been ranked by the Lawyer Africa. Hoping to see you once again next week. Have a lovely day.